What's up, TBS crew? It's your boy Steph, back with another video. This time we have Mr. Creeps. Don't explore abandoned houses. Not all of them are empty. Creepypasta. So y'all already know Mr. Creeps be getting down with these uploads, man. He's very consistent. Oh, it was uploaded December 21st, 2019. I don't know why I be forgetting to say that like right after the title like I usually do, but yeah, Mr. Creeps is very persistent with his uploads, and I'm telling you, these creepypastas, man, they live by their name. They creepy as fuck, and I can already tell by the title. Somebody's gonna investigate or go into an abandoned house looking for shit, and they're not gonna like what they find. So, with that being said, y'all already know. All the important links will be down in the description. So without further ado, let's get into it. What the fuck is that thing in the doorway? I don't like that. It looks disgusting.
When I was young growing up, my parents would always lecture me about the good and evil of the world. They explained to me and my older sister, Jenny, that the world is not a safe place for adventures and exploring the unknown. If somebody tells you to stay away from somewhere, you must do so.
Facts, not fiction.
We don't take risks like those. We aren't those type of people. Yeah, Dad. Maybe I should have listened to you more when you gave us those talks, because you never know where those risks will actually take you. After I graduated high school, my parents had the expectation of me going to college right after getting my diploma. When I explained to them that I wanted to enjoy my life just a little more before attending a great college, as they expected, I told them I wanted to explore and travel around the United States. They disapproved of it.
I bet.
And I can remember my dad telling me, "When you come back, don't come running to us about your financial problems or asking for money. We had money put aside for your education. But if you decide to travel, well, we're not going to help pay for any of your expenses." At the time, I thought he was being a complete jerk and a dickhead. But I didn't care. I had a dream, and I was going to live out that dream before feeling like I had to become an adult.
Stupid.
That summer, I was able to collect some money from a previous job that I had to help pay for gas and food.
I could tell you fucking up.
My Toyota Land Cruiser was still in good shape.
Already.
And it didn't seem to have any problems that could affect my journey. And so when school was completely done for, I hit the road. I didn't have a plan for where I wanted to go. But for one, it involved exploring abandoned places. I landed myself in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. As I was driving through, it was already past 1 o'clock in the morning. My tired eyes made it harder to stay awake, which somehow led me in front of an old house that appeared to be unkempt and abandoned. With just a little light, I could tell this house hadn't been occupied for a long time. There was mold growing on the sides of the outside walls, and the grass was at least 3 or 4 feet tall.
Damn.
It was disgusting, but that's what fascinated me about it. I thought that if I wanted to get a better look at this place, that it wouldn't be the best to do so without just a few hours of sleep.
Or at all.
As I did, I pulled into the small gravel driveway right next to the house, and I parked my car. I jumped into the back seat, where I already had a pillow and a blanket set up for me in the back, where I had been sleeping the past few nights. From there, I was able to rest up for a few hours until I was awakened by a strange and unpleasant sound. It appeared to be coming from behind the house. For a moment, I wasn't sure what exactly I was hearing, but it made my head pound and my ears ache. It sounded like somebody was trying to speak with me. I couldn't identify the voice, but it was laughing and telling me to come closer.
No, come on, man.
The next thing that I remembered was waking up, assuming whatever I just saw was a nightmare. A confusing one, that's for sure. and found myself staring at the house, almost forgetting everything that had just happened. I drove around the city, trying to find a good place to sit down and eat. I came across a Waffle House that seemed decent, but again, I was starving. The place didn't have many customers, but still, it had the best food that I had ever tasted. When I finished and I paid, I headed back to the house. I thought that it wouldn't hurt to look around in the daylight, even though I thought it would be even creepier at night. The creepier, the better.
Says who?
When I first got a look at the house, I didn't realize how many locks and the huge lockbox on the door. It didn't surprise me. Maybe the family that was living there before, they must have been keeping it up for sale. But there is no for sale sign in the yard. Realizing that I couldn't enter from the front door, I thought of breaking one of the windows. Now, I'm not any expert on the different types of glass windows, but these must have been made with stronger, unbreakable materials. None of the windows were easily able to break. At last, I was able to enter from one of the windows that was already broken somehow. Maybe somebody was trying to do the same things as I was. The broken window was in one of the small bedrooms on the first floor. To my surprise, the house was still in good condition on the inside, but terribly disgusting on the outside. The house was fully furnished too. It didn't look like somebody could have stolen anything, or tried to either, except the window. For a second, I thought that maybe people were still living here. But why would the inside be so well kept, and the outside look so overgrown and horrible? I had a million questions, but sadly, I couldn't find the answers to any of them. I checked out the rest of the house. It was the same for every room. All nice, well cleaned, and it all smelled of vinegar and stale air. Something just didn't seem right about this house.
Then leave.
As if there was a big secret or something that must reveal itself. Either way, I didn't have a good feeling about this place. I looked down at my watch, an old one that was my grandfather's, and the little clock hands read almost 6:30 p.m.
You gonna get got.
That was impossible. I couldn't have been in here for longer than 30 minutes.
That's
And
too
I
long.
didn't get out of the Waffle House until 12:15 p.m. The feeling as if nothing was making sense kept hitting me. I knew I had to get out.
Thank you.
And that's when it happened.
You should have never came in.
When everything went black. The last thing I remember was waking up on the floor, my head pounding and my ears aching. The same feeling I had when I was having that horrific nightmare. But this time, it was much worse. The voice kept trying to speak with me. I knew it was the same voice that was in my dream, but I still couldn't understand what it was saying. It first started as a mumbling noise that I could feel was getting closer. The voice kept getting louder and louder. It was almost as if it was right next to me when it whispered. They left me alone, and I'm so glad you're here to join me.
That's not my problem.
I screamed. I screamed until I couldn't even feel my throat or hear myself speak.
Damn.
And that's when it appeared. It showed itself. But I couldn't understand what it wanted or how it was here. It looked like the spawn of the devil in the form of a short, discolored, slender man.
Oh, no.
Its face horrified me, with these huge red eyes, no nose, and the biggest and creepiest smile ever put on a face. It had no ears, only just a few holes on the side of its head. Its hands and feet stretched to about 2 or 3 feet long. The worst of it all was what it was wearing. The creature stood tall in what looked like doll clothes, fitting perfectly around its body.
Fuck no.
It tried to talk, but no words came out. I was still as a statue, afraid if I move, this thing will try to kill me or eat me. Something like that. It kept walking closer towards me, but this time slower than before. I was confused why it was going so slow, unsure of what it was trying to do. It looked at me like they had never seen such a creature like me. Neither have I to do the same. Just then, a second one comes walking into the living room where I was sitting.
Bruh, come on, man.
This one was much bigger, taller than I was, and I was about 6 feet tall.
It's time to go.
It looked at me like I was a threat. Kind of like when somebody is unsure how they are supposed to process what's going on at that moment.
It's time to go.
And that's when it happened again. The pounding headache and the pressure on the ears.
It's time
I
to
didn't
go.
understand what was going
Stop
on.
playing with me.
It's
I would
were
be
these
gone.
oddly strange creatures. Until I heard the voices again. This time I could hear them perfectly, but I still couldn't recognize where I had heard that voice before. But a few moments later, I understood it perfectly. The bigger creature looked into my eyes. It was their voice. They were trying to talk to me. Excuse me, child. She has never seen a human before. Who are you and how did you get here?
I'm nobody, and I'm leaving.
The creature gave me an uncomfortable look. My name's Michael. I saw this house as I was passing by last night. I needed a place to crash and I thought I could park my car in the driveway and I could get a few hours of sleep.
You deserve whatever you get.
It appeared to me that nobody was living here, so I thought it would be okay.
You thought.
I didn't mean to cause any trouble. I just want to get out.
I'll be leaving now.
The smaller one looked at me, coming closer and closer,
Dude, come on.
touching my face.
What is you doing?
I could hear her say, soft. I'm not here to hurt you, I started to say. I just wanted to look through this house for a little bit.
Why?
I didn't mean any trouble.
But you caused
I just want to get home.
I bet.
The creature sighed, but didn't stop staring at me with its threatening eyes, communicating with its mind. The creature stated, I don't trust humans, or anybody in that matter. You cannot leave until we are finished.
With what?
I was confused at what the creature meant.
Right.
Finished. And then all of a sudden, there was a huge explosion sound coming from, well, I thought it came from the basement. The smaller creature yelped as if they were shot and hit by 1,000 bullets and disappeared out of sight. The bigger one followed behind. Understanding that whatever was going on wouldn't end well if I stuck around any longer, I stood up and I jetted out of the door, not slowing down for anything. I could still hear their screams from behind me. I didn't know what was going on, but whatever it was, I did not want to be a part of it.
There you go.
I got into my car and I drove off as fast as I could,
I bet.
not turning back or stopping.
It'd be like that.
I was able to reach the downtown area and I ran into a small grocery store to ask if I could use the phone. As I ran towards the payphone in the store, an older lady working the cash register called out to me. We're closing in 15 minutes. Make it quick or I'll leave you in here overnight.
Damn.
I wasn't listening and I dialed 911.
So much for good customer service.
The operator asked me what was wrong and that's when I realized I didn't even know what had happened. The older lady asked me if I was okay, but all I did was turn around and say, "You won't believe what just happened." The lady looked at me with a concerned look on her face, as if she knew exactly what I was about to say. There was this house and I just stopped off at it because I was just looking for a place to sleep. And the next morning, when I woke up, I went inside of the house and I saw these figures. I don't know what they wanted, but they scared the shit out of me. I said all of this, even though I knew she wouldn't believe me.
You never know.
The lady seemed scared and her face went completely white.
She believes you.
And that's when she asked, "Was that house on Maple Street?" I replied yes.
Oh, she know about
What
it.
she told me next would make my journey as an explorer come to an end.
I bet.
She started. "There once was a family, the Connors, that lived there many years ago. I would say in the mid-70s or early 80s. I was friends with the mother, Barbara, since we were kids. They were a well-known family that everybody seemed to adore. They had 2 children, Maxine and Gilbert, the 2 cutest and most adoring little kids. Their father, Michael Connor, was a well-known scientist who had a theory that all human life could be changed into its own form, with the power of creativity and mystery.
Oh, he wanted them.
In their basement, he had his own laboratory set up where he would do his own experiments. He kept this part of his life very private from the rest of the community, and never really talked about his career much. Anyhow, a few years later during one of Mr. Connor's experiments on a small rat, well, we can say that something happened. It forced Mrs. Connor and the kids to move out of the house, and nobody has seen them since. What about Mr. Connor? I asked, unsure of what the answer would be. The lady continued. Well, the truth is, no one knows. We don't know if he moved out or he stayed. He never tried to sell the house if he had moved out, which seems kind of strange. So for what I know, he could still be living there. I was speechless and more unsure of what to say next. I asked her what the easiest way out of town would be, and she told me to just take Highway 88, and it would take me to Philly and I could get a good start there.
And don't come back.
My mind was all over the place and it made me wonder, was Mr. Connor still in that house? Is that why the house was so clean? But what scared me the most was, did he know that I was in the house and was trying to save me? Was he down in the basement the entire time, just hiding or waiting? And more importantly, what kind of experiment were those creatures a part of? Whatever Mr. Connor did, the lady was right. They were mysterious. Now, I'm just focusing on getting home and doing something else with my life. I thought that I wanted to be an adventurer and go across the country. But now I know that isn't for me.
Take your ass home. See, stories like these are the epitome for the reason why not to explore abandoned places. Because you never know what the fuck is in there. The title alone is like a big ass duh to everybody. Not all abandoned places are empty. That's facts, not fiction. This young man was well on his way to getting got by one of Mr. Connor's creatures, and he would have came into town, but he sure wouldn't have been leaving. He would have been getting his shit all the way fucked up, and would have deserved every minute of it. This creepypasta alone is a big reason why you should not do that. Because y'all may not be as lucky as old boy is in this story. Because his luck almost ran out. I'm curious to know what that giant explosion was. Was that Mr. Connor stopping the creatures from eating him? Or, like, I wish there was more information on that. That's the only real question that I have. Like, what was the explosion from? But, yeah. all y'all could take some away from this. Facts. Thank you so much, guys, for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed. That is all I got for y'all this time around. I hope you have a good day and or a good night. Your boy Steph is out.